Chapter 81 Hidden Dangers. You are listening at NovelsReturning. It's not in vain. Tao Yu drove the truck at a speed of about 25 yards on the outer ring road of Las Vegas. Seeing Xiao He in front of him jumping down from time to time to lead away the zombies, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. At present, this route is not bad. The number of zombies is less than expected, but there are many cars that have broken down on the road, some can be knocked away, and some directly detour to the sidewalk next to them, relying on superb driving skills to bypass. In short, although the speed is not fast, the two cars are still bumping along this outer ring road. But is there too few zombies? Relying on the high sight distance of the truck and Tao Yu's own eyesight, he can easily plan the road behind. The steering wheel in his hand is quite flexible, the car body of more than 10 meters is controlled with ease. Las Vegas is closer, and there must be a lot of good things inside. If we can complete a round trip in 3 days including the time for purchasing, the income will be considerable. Tao Yu thought happily in the car, then Tao Yu looked at the time again and found that it was past noon, so he turned on the watch radio and waited for the news of today's update. Sun Shiqing's voice began to come from the radio. We have preliminarily determined the location of the gathering place. We chose the Zombie 01 fragment. The specific location is. Although Tao Yu originally thought that it was very likely to be chosen here, he was relieved after getting the official reply. At least these 2 trucks of goods were not pulled in vain. Now, whether it is a new entry or a pioneer who is already in the abyss, you can gather at the gathering place. At the same time, we will also release some new tasks. First, the indigenous survivors. Each indigenous survivor brought to the gathering place can get 100 units of willpower. The words of Sun Shiqing, the beautiful boy, updated the tasks one by one on the radio, and they really took the path of proving the truth with money. Now there are few people, and they are also worried that the subsequent pioneers will not choose the new development area, so they have not yet done forced cannon fodder, and it can be foreseen that they may not do it before the new gathering place is built. It is to spend money to make people willing to complete the task. Each aboriginal can get a reward of 100 units of willpower, which is not bad. As long as you bring 3, it is equivalent to the monthly income of Tao Yu's parents, although the risk is indeed greater. Saving the aboriginals is usually a side job, and you can also pull some needed goods at the same time. There are indeed more opportunities in the new development area. Most of these new recruits are not as strong as my father. Tao Yu was thinking while listening to the broadcast on the radio. Now there are 2 cars, plus my own strength and cooperation with Xiao He. I can carry out this kind of action by myself, and I can eat the team's task rewards alone. I can persuade Judy to stay and help, and the salary to be paid is not much. I can keep pulling until the high-priced goods are pulled. Pandora actually has potential, but it's a pity that the flying mounts there may not be adapted to the air in other worlds. Tao Yu is actually jealous of the flying motorcycles of the twins in the floating city. I don't have the money to buy this kind of thing, but I should be able to get a flying mount by riding and taming. I can't be a Pandora's Phantom Knight myself, but it's still possible to catch a small one, right? Thinking about the general physique of the avatar and the brute force of the creatures on Pandora, Tao Yu was silent for a moment. Wait until I squeeze out the potential of the second-level divine breathing method, it should be possible. While thinking about this, he poured another can of beef into his mouth and kept chewing. The nutritional supply of canned beef is not the best, but it is the most cost-effective for me at present. Tao Yu suddenly paused after turning an intersection, then picked up the walkie-talkie next to him and said, "Slow down, there's something going on ahead." As he spoke, he began to slow down, and Judy, the female truck driver, also slowed down behind Tao Yu's car. I saw a mountain of corpses piled up like a pyramid at the next intersection just in front of me after turning the corner. Most of the intersection was blocked. Tao Yu slowed down, not because the road was blocked. In fact, with his driving skills, it was not difficult to get through the front, and the gap left was enough. Man-made. Tao Yu judged the source of this mountain of corpses that looked like a jingguan, and then frowned. Pioneer. It shouldn't be. The time when the inner city pioneers like Lizard came here was not much earlier than him. Those who raised aliens behind should not have the time to do these tricks. What pervert is there among the pioneers? I'm afraid it's probably not a pioneer. In an instant, Tao Yu thought of Xiao Shaolin in his shadow, and then picked up the walkie-talkie and said. I'll let Xiao He stay to protect you, wait for me first. As he finished speaking, he got out of the window of the truck, and then flipped directly to the roof of the truck. With one step, he crossed a distance of 3 meters, grabbed the eaves next to him, and then began his increasingly skilled climbing again. He quickly climbed onto the roof, and after climbing up, he ran a few steps towards the Jingguan in front, and kept sticking out his thumb for comparison while running. It can't be wrong, this is a man-made corpse-raising ground. Tao Yu had the skill of refining corpses, and became even more skilled after deification. He quickly made his own judgment, then stopped, quickly climbed off the roof again, got into the car, and took out the piece of paper. Map, I saw the somewhat square urban layout of Las Vegas, then I clicked on the place in Jingguan. This, if it is true, then there will be another one on my next route, just to confirm. Tao Yu didn't plan to spend too much time digging into the details. Who really did it, and that was something he couldn't handle at the moment, but just to confirm on the way, it's no problem. If you can't figure it out yourself, just report it as a task and give it to the 2 people in the floating city. Just say that you have learned a zombie skill and know some feng shui knowledge. If this is the skill I learned, it actually has an upper limit. Even if a city or even the whole world raises corpses, it won't be too exaggerated. The marginal effect will be obvious. The person who did this is really crazy. Ah. Tao Yu himself has the art of refining corpses, and he has also been deified. He has a good grasp of the details of the skills, so he knows that this kind of zombie has an upper limit. The other party is stacking up materials and places to raise corpses, trying to forcefully raise the upper limit, getting half the result with half the effort. As long as it can be improved a little, no matter how many people die, it doesn't matter. The luck thief. Tao Yu thought of Xiao Shaolin's perverted character and of this miserable world. Luck thieves are really a bunch of lunatics. The abyss favors madmen. It's so reasonable, that while thinking in his mind, Tao Yu also picked up the walkie-talkie and asked the people behind to keep up, and then started to show off his driving skills to avoid the Jingguan in front, Judy and Jesse in the back. Even though they themselves had crawled out of hell, and their mentality was already quite strong, they still couldn't help but feel a little scared when they saw this scene. I could only drive nervously behind Tao Yu and avoid this place. No wonder there are fewer zombies on the road, they are all concentrated here. Sure enough, it's a man-made place to raise corpses. As the sky darkened and night fell, Tao Yu returned to the Gobi Highway with the truck headlights on. Tao Yu, who had left the city of Las Vegas, did not feel very excited. I originally wanted to keep coming to Las Vegas to purchase goods in the near future, but now it seems that there may be some trouble. I wonder if the 2 people in the floating city can solve this kind of trouble. While thinking of this, Tao Yu put into gear and increased the speed of the car, picked up the walkie-talkie and said. We have left the city. Find a place to rest where there are few zombies. Try to stay in the car. If you want to get out of the car easily, go find Xiao He. Okay, thank you boss. Judy and the others were quite sensible and had no complaints along the way. After Xiao He cleans up the zombies, he will come back and squat on the roof of their car. After this period of time, this ferocious-looking alien has become a guardian in their eyes, and it can actually bring a sense of security. Then the 2 cars stopped at the edge of the road. In this environment, there are no vehicles on this road, so it doesn't matter if you park on the side of the road. Chapter 82 Shame. You are listening at NovelsReturning. Roar. A tiger roar that sounded like a roar in the ear, accompanied by strong winds. Tao Yu, who could only practice breathing techniques while driving, practiced the 5 forms of 10,000 flows directly on the Gobi Desert beside the road at night. The strength in the body was also better enhanced and transported under the blessing of the chi and blood of the second divine breathing method, complementing each other. Every time he walked, he felt a tingling sensation all over his body, which made people unable to stop. In order to prevent the strength from shattering his clothes, and because it was already dark, Tao Yu practiced shirtless and in sweatpants under the starlight. The power belt and inner scale armor were stuffed into Xiao Shaolin, who was called out to be on guard. He slowly exhaled a breath of hot air, and Tao Yu's pores seemed to be breathing in and out, and white sweat continued to rise from his body. I don't know who created the Wanlu 5 forms, but it is indeed profound and profound. It may be a skill that has been circulated in a world fragment in the old development area. Tao Yu's Wanlu 5 forms have been deified now, and he has a unique understanding of it. Every time he plays it, every time he gets some improvement, he can have a new and different feeling. Looked at the skill level, under the influence of time, each of the 5 forms has officially reached the level of LV3, and, 5 forms in 1, has also been upgraded to LV2, and the strength generated by the blood and chi has obviously increased a lot. The bonus of fist intention, talent for this kind of practice is really excellent, otherwise it would not be so fast even if I continue to invest in willpower. Now Tao Yu's physical fitness improvement brought by 5 forms in 1, has not been fully digested, and with the basic breathing of the second deification, he has really entered a period of rapid improvement in physical fitness. But human physique is still somewhat lacking after all, and the current absolute strength is only comparable to Xiaohe. Tao Yu's ability to increase the upper limit has been stacked up a lot, but even so, before the potential is digested, it is just barely comparable to ordinary aliens. The reason why I was able to suppress Xiaohe at the beginning was mainly due to the mental impact mixed with fist intention. When I grabbed Xiaohe's tail, I was pulled by it and it slipped. In fact, it was a manifestation of my inferior strength at the beginning. Now, in such a short time, I have quickly changed from inferior to equal. It is already a terrifying speed. Even now, if I don't use the divine skills, I can't beat Xiaohe's fighting weapons with my physical fitness. It's useless to have exquisite moves. He just uses claws, mouth, and tail together. I can't defend against it, but if I really want to kill him, it's just a matter of one blow. I was wrong to use the second blow. Alien implantation and mechanical transformation are indeed shortcuts. Tao Yu thought of the dead Joseph and the now ignorant Wainua. Wainua took the alien's tail with one hand and used it as a meteor hammer after taking drugs. This is just a newcomer who has just entered the abyss, and his talent awakening is also very ordinary, but relying on the implantation of foreign bodies and a large amount of initial willpower, it has formed such a strong combat power in a short time. This made Tao Yu look at Chao Shaolin next to him. I wonder if this thing can be transformed. Tao Yu himself is definitely not interested in mechanical transformation and foreign bodies, but zombies don't mind, but it's a pity, it's too expensive. I don't have enough willpower. If I pick up materials that are difficult to handle next time, I can try it. Tao Yu thought of Joseph who blew himself up, the lizard covered in poison, and the one who blew himself up in the alien nest. Tisk, it's urgent to find a way to control the self-destruction. They are really a group of bomb maniacs. His breathing gradually calmed down, and Tao Yu also felt the recovery of his physical strength. The strengthening of the lungs brought by the second divine breathing method is a comprehensive enhancement, and the recovery speed of physical strength has accelerated a lot. Tao Yu picked up the white towel hanging on Chao Shaolin to wipe the sweat off his body, and was also very satisfied with the current sense of strength of his body. His physical strength was restored between breaths. His skills after being deified were all energy-consuming, so this was undoubtedly a compensation. The breathing method seems mediocre in all aspects, but the hexagonal bucket enhancement method really brings some small surprises from time to time. Under the starlight at night, the sweat stains on Tao Yu's body and the streamlined and well-proportioned muscles seemed to be reflecting the starlight, which made him look quite stylish. But at this moment, a faint roar suddenly came over. Tao Yu threw the towel back on Chao Shaolin's face, and while eating sports drinks with canned beef, he also walked to Chao Shaolin's side to take his clothes and turned his head to look at the source of the sound. There were faint lights and shadows coming from the direction of Las Vegas, and Tao Yu's eyesight could clearly see the situation in front at night. It was a group of motorcycle gangs. They were all riding some heavy motorcycles, many of which had been modified to prevent zombies, with many metal spikes welded on. Although they were two-wheeled, if the skills were good, it didn't matter if they directly hit the zombies, as long as there were not many of them. Wow, survivors. After Tao Yu swallowed the beef in his mouth, he began to put on his equipment and clothes slowly. When he returned to the truck after doing all this, the motorcycle team was not far away from the two trucks. Xiao He had already jumped into the shadow under the tanker, exerting his alien lurking instinct, and Judy and Jesse in the cab had nervously taken out the pistols that Tao Yu had thrown to them for self-defense, looking at the roaring motorcycles and listening to the occasional strange roars. The two also recalled some unpleasant memories, two large trucks parked on the roadside one after the other. Although the lights were not turned on, the intact image and standard parking still attracted the attention of the motorcycle team. Someone shone the flashlight directly at the cab and saw the two people inside. "Oh, boss, there are women. 2 trucks of goods. There should be people in the car in front, right? Is this receiving radio information to deliver goods?" Messy English with a heavy accent kept ringing, and the lights of the motorcycles flashed, making the scene look a little chaotic. Tao Yu had already put on his clothes and walked out from the back of the truck. "Oh. Radio? Did your radio also receive information?" Judging from the accent, he should be an Aboriginal survivor who used to live in Las Vegas. Tao Yu has already identified 2 Jingguan, but according to his knowledge of refining corpses, it should take 24 of the same size to form that Jedi. Therefore, the density of zombies in many places in Las Vegas may not be as high as Henderson. But many people outside Las Vegas are worried about the zombies in the city and dare not enter rashly. These guys may be living a pretty good life. Tao Yu suddenly appeared and spoke, which also scared the motorcycle gang. Someone was ready to draw his gun and pointed at Tao Yu. However, the moment the muzzle was raised, bang! Tao Yu took the lead and shot the opponent's gun down. The stimulation of the gunshot made more motorcycle gangs want to fire back. However, without exception, when Tao Yu was prepared in advance and his reaction speed was far faster than them, the group of people who had to raise their guns temporarily could not pose any threat at all. If not everyone represented 100 wishes, the motorcycles under their buttocks and their weapons should also be able to sell for money. Tao Yu would choose to shoot directly in the head. Bang bang bang! The continuous gunshots were quite freehand, and Tao Yu even had time to change the magazine in between. Bullet time, improved shooting ability, and 1 certificate forever, does not worry about unfamiliar feel, so Tao Yu has reached level 3 in basic shooting modified, which he did not spend much time practicing. At this time, Tao Yu leisurely changed the magazine, and the wailing of the people who tried to fight back covered their hands, instantly suppressed all the resistance. Tao Yu's shooting is quite accurate, but he can't do the same when shooting flying guns and wounding hands. People who are shot in the hand can only think that they are unlucky. He can't waste mental energy to correct the trajectory because of these little karami. "I don't like people pointing guns at me." Tao Yu changed the magazine in an orderly manner, and even took the time to press bullets into the empty magazine one by one, with a smiling expression on his face, but the rhythmic sound of the bullets being pressed into the magazine made the motorcycle gang sweat. "Understand, we were wrong just now." The leader of the motorcycle gang, who never held a gun during the whole process, was a burly man wearing a cowboy buttoned leather jacket. He nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. "What the hell? It's just like in the movie. This is too exaggerated. There are more than a dozen of us. Brother. It's us. Save us." After Tao Yu directly suppressed the whole scene, a familiar voice came over, which surprised Tao Yu. After all, there were more than a dozen motorcycles, and Tao Yu didn't look at each one. Now he found that there was a large dog cage tied behind the last 3 motorcycles, and there were 3 people in the dog cage, the 3 heroes of West City. Tao Yu was also a little confused when he saw them. No way. Were they arrested again? What's going on? Why didn't they run away? But soon Tao Yu remembered that these 3 people had just come here, and then they set out on the same day to go to the gathering place to make money. Now it has not been 5 days, and they can't go back to the real world. Good man, this time it's even worse. He was put in a dog cage. It's a shame for the pioneers. Chapter 83 Another Local. You are listening at NovelsReturning. Thank you, Big Brother. Thank you, Big Brother. If you have anything to do in the future, just ask us. Although our 3 heroes in West City are not strong enough, we can still run errands without any problem. Dajia emerged from the dog cage, thanking him profusely, and his body was still stained with an indescribable stench, which made Tao Yu stay away from him. Stay vigil at night and keep an eye on them. Tao Yu asked the three of them to pick up their guns, then confiscated the weapons of the speeding party, and whistled for Xiao He to come out and show off. The terrifying appearance of the alien frightened these dozen motorcycle gangs as soon as it appeared. Even if they have experienced the baptism of zombies and have a strong ability to accept it, they can still feel the power after seeing Xiao He. Whoever sneaks away will die. We will set off early tomorrow morning. I will also go to the base. Okay, we'll go with you. Then two people come over, and I take turns asking questions. If there is a chance to lie, I will only hit the 5 limbs first. Tao Yu's subsequent words made the denim jacket boss of the team feel cold on his face and nodded repeatedly. I understand. You should come first. What's going on at your radio station? Tao Yu asked, and then gradually understood the reason. It should be the original survivors in the military base, or someone from Jack and the others could help with the broadcast. The two people in the floating city directly hijacked the frequency band of the original radio station in Las Vegas and told the survivors about the existence of the base. Be safe, have food, restore order. Every bit of this promise can be said to make the survivors who can receive it excited. So they, a speedster gang that had been operating outside Las Vegas, immediately decided to defect. Actually, we have been to that military base before. The zombie density was too high and nothing happened. If we can clean it up, we must have a strong combat effectiveness, and the safety is indeed guaranteed. The leader of the speeding car gang honestly told all his thoughts. Looking at you, you are also very nourished. Is there any danger in Las Vegas? What's going on with those Beijing temples? Tao Yu asked smoothly what he cared about. The city of Las Vegas is actually pretty good. There are more than 20 tourist attractions, so the density of zombies is acceptable. Having said this, he hesitated for a moment and then continued. We have been operating in Las Vegas, so we know that those zombies were piled up at the beginning of the outbreak. Speaking of this, there was still a look of fear on his face, and that weird scene is still fresh in his memory. If it weren't for the abundant food in the city and the water source nearby, they really wouldn't want to stay here. Furthermore, through our communication with other survivors in the city, we also know that although the overall environment of Las Vegas is good, people disappear every night. My team has also had 3 people disappear in the past few months. There was no warning at all. After hearing these words, Tao Yu also fell into thinking, people go missing every day. Then some information about zombie refining appeared in his heart. The zombies in this place were artificially awakened and were hunting every day. Just because they are still in the process of raising corpses, not all survivors in the city have been exterminated. Every survivor in Las Vegas is actually its blood bag. How long do you want to keep this for? Tao Yu's current limit of corpse refining level is about 81 days, and now he is still raising it here after 7 or 8 months. Even if this corpse refining technique does have an upper limit, it would be troublesome to pile up materials like this violently. Tao Yu looked towards the dark city of Las Vegas, feeling a little heavy in her heart. Perhaps it's not just Las Vegas, this infection affects the entire world in front of us, and I don't know how many such areas will appear. The efficiency of mindlessly stacking zombies towards one zombie will become increasingly inefficient. It is actually better to spread out and create more zombies. Just like every time the yield of a nuclear bomb increases tenfold, the killing radius will only double. The killing and destruction of subwarheads far exceeds the pile yield. To the person behind the scenes, the zombies in the city are already warheads. How did he control so many zombies at the same time? He can't bear it mentally. Each zombie needs to occupy a piece of spiritual space, and it is for this reason that Tao Yu wants to make it high quality, with 1 or 2 at most, but there are quite a few cities the size of Las Vegas around the world, and they must have used other means that they don't know about, use props to control. The red sun rises slowly in the morning and falls on the Gobi Desert. On the road covered with wind and sand, there will occasionally be a broken-down abandoned vehicle parked on the side of the road, but the overall road condition is still much better than in the city. The convoy, with a heavy truck and a fuel tanker as its core, was moving steadily forward on the road. Because of the gravel on the road, In order to prevent the tires of the heavy truck from slipping, the speed was not increased, and the motorcycle next to it was guarding it like a guard. The dozen speedsters who had been captured by Tao Yu on the spot were following him obediently, not thinking about running away or anything. That night, Tao Yu suppressed them head-on with one shot, leaving a huge psychological shadow on them. Isn't it deserving of being killed from a distance if I try to run away? We are going to the base anyway, so just follow, because the distance is not that far. Even if the speed is not fast, the situation on the other side of the base can already be seen before noon. You can see thick black smoke coming from the base from a distance, and you can smell a burning smell in the air. Tao Yu leaned against the height of the truck and could already see clearly what was going on there. It was divided into several piles of corpses and burned, although the smell will be bad. In the short term, compared to the long-term rotten smell, it definitely needs to be dealt with. I waited for the body to be picked up and spent time replenishing the goods. In addition, the truck was delayed in traveling to Las Vegas and stayed out all night. It is normal for other pioneers nearby to arrive early. Tao Yu briefly thought about it in his mind, but there is no doubt that there are definitely not many pioneers on the base now, and the main force now should be the Aborigines. I even saw the old lady in Jack's team who had hit people with a cane trembling while working in front of the mountain of corpses. The company doesn't care for idle people, and they are definitely not as easy to talk to as Jack. Tao Yu honked the horn, and such a large convoy immediately attracted the attention of the base, who couldn't help but look up. Then Tao Yu saw 3 motorcycles driving towards this direction at high speed. The style of one of the motorcycles is obviously very different from the style on Earth. It has a punk feel. Someone should have brought it from this world. This is almost the limit of body type that can be carried around. Inner city pioneers. Tao Yu quickly made a judgment in her mind, because Tao Yu still has the little request of the Sun siblings. It is not a lie to see the inner city pioneers now. I've already killed several people, and they'll die even if their heads are cut off, so what's the point? Are you survivors? Came to the base. As soon as they came over, a figure wearing a helmet on one of the Earth version motorcycles asked loudly in English, and Tao Yu can also feel that this is a pioneer who chose Unli translation because he can also understand English, so it sounds like this. Looking at the excited expression on the other person's face, Tao Yu guessed that this guy thought that all the batches were ownerless, so Didi honked the horn, stuck his head out of the window and spoke in common language. Big brother, local, pioneer. When Tao Yu poked his head out, the helmeted man with an excited tone froze. Even though he was wearing a helmet, Tao Yu vaguely felt the other party curse in a low voice. Chapter 84 Business. You are listening at NovelsReturning. Brother Panda, what bad luck, it's the pioneers. The motorcycle wearing a helmet came to ask questions, and then returned to the punk-style heavy motorcycle with a tailspin, and there was some bad luck and complaints in his words. The heavy motorcycle has quite wide tires, and it can stop without support from the stand and feet. At this time, a strong man who is at least more than 2 meters and 3 meters tall just parked the motorcycle casually on the side, leaning lazily on the motorcycle and smoking, without the younger brother's reply. He had already heard Tao Yu's somewhat silly voice, and then sneered. Are you stupid? How many of us pioneers have come in? Is it possible to form such a large team? This made the younger brother wearing a helmet stunned, and then looked back at the trucks and motorcycles that began to slow down. I saw that many people riding motorcycles had bloody bandages on their hands. Many people rode with one hand, and some rode on the back seat of their companions. The captured indigenous people. However, the overall strength of the pioneers is not weak, as they were able to capture more than a dozen adult males. I just don't know how they are distributed specifically. At this time, Panda, who was from the inner city and was 2 meters and 3 meters tall, flicked away his cigarette butt and got out of the car, and took the initiative to walk towards Tao Yu. After seeing that there was another oil tanker behind him, he also raised his eyebrows and said to Tao Yu, who was sticking his head out of the cab. Is that the one behind it filled with oil? Yes, I have more than 20 off-road motorcycles in this box, as well as a lot of daily necessities, more than 20 guns of various kinds, and the motorcycles under their buttocks. Tao Yu rubbed his lips at the group of speeders outside, and he didn't hide anything. Now the base is in ruins, and it is possible that the two people from the floating city are looking for an opportunity to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. Tao Yu doesn't think that anyone would be unwise to rob at the gate of the base. After all, he has registered with the Sun family siblings now. Even if he doesn't say that he is biased towards himself, he still has a place to talk. If I make a mistake, I will be robbed. Tao Yu began to look at the equipment on the strong man. It was not a self-destructive mechanical modification, and I didn't know which of his equipment was a willpower equipment. The entrance of the base was bloody, which was not good. Good guy, you are lucky, brother, you look a little unfamiliar, from the outer city. Panda didn't care that Tao Yu didn't get off. He supported the side of the truck with one hand, looking at the many injured bikers, as if he was estimating something. From the outer city, A-level, dynamic vision, this place was also found and reported to Miss Sun by me. As Tao Yu said, he also put his hand on the window and showed his mission watch. When you need to show yourself, you must not hesitate. It is best to dispel some thoughts in the budding state, which can save a lot of trouble. Otherwise, once you have a mind, or even put it into action, the effect of moving these cards will be reduced with the investment of sunk costs. Even if the other party chooses to take a step back at that time, the feud will be formed, which is not worthwhile. As a social animal in his previous life, Tao Yu understood all this very well. Now, with the current value of interests and the ability he has shown, it should not be possible for an inner-city pioneer to do anything embarrassing, and Tao Yu's hint did make Panda's expression slightly stiff, and then he said with a little dissatisfaction. Look at what you said, brother, it seems that I will intercept. Brother, you misunderstood, I just like to show off, sorry. Tao Yu had a smiling expression. As for whether he wants to intercept or not, only the other party knows. If he really has no idea, he would not come here specially. Are you bored? Hey, you are interesting, A-level, dynamic vision, right? You may go to the city in the future. Let's get to know each other in advance, Panda. Panda grinned, looked up at Tao Yu in the cab and stretched out his hand. With a tall figure of 2 meters and 3, even if Tao Yu was sitting in a high position like the cab of a truck, the other party could reach him directly with his hand. Tao Yu also stretched out the window and shook hands with the other party, and never intended to get out of the car. Brother Panda, you are too kind. I got a little reward from Miss Sun because I completed the task before. It's still a long time before we enter the city. Sell these goods to me, 20,000 willpower together. I didn't let you suffer any loss. Panda's words made Tao Yu smile. He opened the car door and jumped down, and then looked up at Panda. Brother Panda, that's not true. If you want to buy, can I not sell it? The two big cars themselves don't count. Panda's eyelids twitched, but he still nodded and said. As long as your goods and these people, you can add some money if you are willing to sell the 2 cars, but you have to teach us how to drive. The big cars are not for sale for the time being. When we want to sell them, we will consider you first. Tao Yu actually made some estimates. He had just robbed this group of speeding gangs, and each living person had 100 willpower, plus more than 20 guns, an average of 100 guns. More than a dozen motorcycles are also an average of more than 100 each, and they can be counted as about 7,000 willpower when packed together. The 2 trucks of goods here should be worth about 10,000, if we consider the shortage now. The other party is willing to pay 20,000 in total, which is a bit of a premium. This is the opportunity of the new development area and the new gathering place. Danger and gain coexist. Tao Yu knew that the other party was willing to pay a higher price, so there must be ways to make back the cost, such as points, goodwill, or separate retail, so he would definitely make money. But for Tao Yu himself, quick realization and a premium price are a positive gain. It's better to go out to the retail store again instead of wasting time by yourself. What payment method do you think? Let me explain first. There are 2 female aborigines, I want to keep them. Tao Yu's height has increased a bit now, but she is still a bit petite compared to Panda's 2-meter 3-meter figure. When Panda heard Tao Yu's words, he glanced at the 2 female aboriginal women who, in his opinion, were only of average appearance, and felt a little funny in his heart. The bumpkin from the outer city is just ignorant, but if he is lustful, he will be able to do whatever he likes in future transactions. Okay. As he spoke, Panda also took out a magnetic card, and then began to close his eyes and inject his wish power. He is obviously not as wealthy as the Sun siblings. He can carry a loaded magnetic card with him, so 20,000 willpower is not a small sum for him. That is to say, the talent is not bad, and the family also values the development potential here and adds some sponsorship. However, he knew that he would never lose money on this investment and transaction. Apart from anything else, with a little training, this group of mature men can start to create value, sort the goods, exchange points for the useless ones, give 1 point for the useful ones, and sell some easy-to-sell items separately. You can definitely get more. The new gathering place is in need of renovation. For him, materials are now more important than willingness. With these, it is convenient for me to build my own team. Win-win. Thank you, Brother Panda. Where do you want me to unload the things? Tao Yu took the magnetic card, sucked up all the wish power, and returned the empty card to Panda. He now has an empty magnetic card with a maximum limit of 100,000, so there is no need to keep collecting so many. Let's go to the base. I'll get some oil barrels. The goods will be placed directly on the ground. The warehouse is now commandeered by 2 adults. As he spoke, Panda waved his hand to let his younger brother make way, and at the same time turned back to Tao Yu and said, "How about it, brother, are you interested in joining my team? You can drive. From now on, we can arrange to transport supplies together to make our company bigger and stronger. I'm used to being a wild person. I'll try my best to find my way first. If I can't make it any further, I'll come find you." Tao Yu listened to Panda's unskilled painting and didn't even mean to pay attention to it. If you want to transport the goods yourself, why should you get involved if there is no practical benefit? Perhaps ordinary outer city pioneers would be very excited about establishing connections with the inner city, but Tao Yu, who had even met the Sun siblings, was not interested in this. Even if you really want to find thighs, you have to find beautiful ones. Tao Yu, who got into the cab of the truck again and fastened her seatbelt, felt a wave of emotion in her heart when she saw Panda leading the way on his bicycle. When they first met Joseph and Wino in the inner city, they almost pretended to be grandsons. Even if they assassinated Joseph, it would still be the right time and place, but now, even on the bright side, he can discuss business with people in the inner city openly. Secretly, several of them have already been killed. The abyss is indeed a magical place. Chapter 85 Interests. You are listening at NovelsReturning. Whenever you get something good, remember to find me first. It took half a day to complete the handover of Tao Yu's goods. In fact, oil is mainly filled in oil barrels. Although there are many large cylindrical oil barrels in the military base here, filling them is still a bit troublesome. Easy to talk to and happy to work with. Tao Yu and Panda shook hands. A pleasure to work with. While shaking hands, Panda also looked at Jack next to Tao Yu, and the importance he attached to Tao Yu increased again. Jack's identity has not been made public, but Panda, as an inner-city pioneer who is rarely present, still received instructions alone. This is the chosen one, who is extremely important to the gathering place. Depending on the relationship and attitude between the other party and this guy, maybe this chosen one was also found by the other party. According to the atmosphere of the 2 Sun family members, I am afraid the reward will not be low. With an A-level talent, such a huge amount of rewards, and being registered with the Sun family, it's no wonder that he has the confidence to stand up for himself. Unlike other out-of-city bastards, after taking one last look at Tao Yu and Jack, Panda also turned and left. After purchasing these goods, you have to exchange them for greater benefits. It is also time to improve your team. You kid, you've got so many goods. Okay, you're going to get a lot of rewards, right? You need a treat. Jack winked at Tao Yu. Seeing Tao Yu come to the base, Jack felt much more relaxed. Although the Sun siblings who flew over were very kind to him and even gave him some protective equipment, Jack still felt that Tao Yu's contact would be smoother. Okay, I'll treat you to canned beef. Tao Yu threw out a box he carried with him. No, I'm almost tired of it. Jack's face elongated, making the scar on his big nose more obvious. I see you feel a lot more relaxed. What's wrong? Have you left the burden behind? that when Tao Yu saw that Jack wouldn't eat the can, she tore it open and began to chew. I said sending them here is a good start, and the rest is up to your company. Jack also looked back at the piles of zombie corpses at this time. At this time, many people who originally belonged to Jack's team were busy there, the elderly, weak, women and children are no exception. If you don't work and you don't have food, you really don't have food. On this point, the company can really treat everyone equally. Tommy and Senkei are the only ones with me now, and your two big pioneers are really strong. When they came over, I didn't even succeed in luring the zombies away. When Jack said this, there was a look of amazement on his face. He didn't expect that this was also a human being. Killing zombies is just like mowing grass. The big shots in the floating city are strong as they should be. Do you know where they are now? I want to find them for something. Tao Yu asked casually. It's mainly about the issues surrounding the sites in Las Vegas, and by the way, I also want to ask about my small request. Anyway, the stronger these two guys are, the better. They are going out for a trip. They should be planning to wander around the area and will not come back in 2 days. Jack said casually. Huh. You know it quite clearly. They entrusted me to take charge of the base temporarily. You tell me whether I know or not. Jack rolled his eyes at Tao Yu, which really surprised Tao Yu, but he reacted quickly, that a chosen one is already very important, and it is normal to be treated specially. Coupled with the relatively positive character and personality of the chosen one, it is indeed easy to gain trust and entrustment. In addition, in fact, the indigenous people themselves are not strong in external development, but it is much more cost-effective to entrust some logistics and construction than to use pioneers. Moreover, even the chosen one cannot secretly absorb wish items and line their own pockets. Your manager still let the previous people do these things. Didn't they complain? Tao Yu raised her eyebrows and asked curiously. I'm just taking care of it, the supplies are not mine. The survivors of the military camp got some civilian jobs in exchange for giving the supplies and the military camp, Jack said calmly, and then continued after a pause. The things that need to be done are listed here, and the number of materials distributed after completion is also limited. If they don't do it, others will have to help, otherwise they will all go hungry, so there is no way. After all, Jack is the original CIA, not a brainless virgin. He will take risks and bring everyone here. That is just to fulfill his original responsibilities as the leader. Now that the responsibilities have been transferred, he will only do what he is currently in his position. He has his own principles for doing things, but he will not give in blindly. When are you going to teach me boxing skills? I think my fighting skills are almost done. They maimed a group of zombies and made me burn a lot. Jack asked Tao Yu in turn. As the chosen one, he can strengthen his willpower and obtain his wish power by killing willing creatures. The utilization efficiency is even higher, and he does not have to dig for wish power items. However, the disadvantage is that he cannot actively absorb willing items and those skills, nor can he actively strengthen anything. That is, comprehensive improvement. Okay, I'll learn now if I have time. I just want to practice. If they don't come back yet, I'll go haul a truckload of goods. Then I'll lend Tommy to me. He can drive a truck, right? Tao Yu didn't care much, and he would do what he promised. Then I thought of Tommy who could drive a truck. I'll tell him that I'll let it go today. I have to help, otherwise they really won't have any food to eat. Jack waved his hand to indicate that he didn't have time today, and then walked towards the old, weak, sick and disabled corpse-burning team. Tao Yu was also stunned for a moment, and then he also smiled. This guy, although he was very fierce and ruthless, and he did ensure the principle, he would still help in his own way where he could. Everyone has to work to have food, and they have to complete the work to get the corresponding share. He will not reduce anyone's workload for personal gain, but he will take the initiative to help complete it and do what he can. But it's a pity, I don't know if he will appreciate your kindness. Tao Yu shook his head, but didn't care. At present, Jack's personality doesn't care much about these things, just like Tao Yu himself rushed all night and raided the alien nest without thinking about getting anyone's thanks. He just wanted to do it, and his thoughts were clear. I saved you, what does it have to do with you? Boss Tao, Boss Jack asked us to follow you to do something. Tommy and Senke changed into a set of individual equipment at the base, and greeted Tao Yu with a smile. They also recognized Tao Yu's strength, and they were the most familiar pioneers. Go to Las Vegas to transport goods, but you won't stay overnight in the city. Tao Yu also smiled when he saw the two of them. At present, the problem of the Jingguan in Las Vegas has not been solved, and Tao Yu will not stay overnight in it. Who knows if he will win the prize? However, relying on the control of the corpse refining technique, Tao Yu can also judge that even if this zombie can resist the sun, it will definitely hate the sun and will not come out in broad daylight. The shortcomings of ordinary corpse refining techniques are still very obvious, and this shortcoming was only eliminated after I became a god. Now I just pull some goods casually in the periphery, and it is still okay not to waste time waiting. The 2 trucks of goods before handle 20,000 wishes at a time. Although there are some issues with the quality of the goods and the fact that the bikers are selling them in packages, it shouldn't be a big problem to make 7,000 or 8,000 yuan with 3 trucks now, right? It's probably enough to just load some supermarket supplies. Since there are not many people going to buy goods now, just load them without thinking, don't waste time. Beep. Tao used 2 trucks, and the truck that Tommy drove over at the beginning left the base one after another, attracting the attention of many people. Panda, who was scolding the bikers and wanted to recruit them, was also a little jealous when he saw the 3 trucks leaving. 3 trucks now, wow, there are goods everywhere now, and any trip is a big profit. After complaining, he turned back and looked at the bikers viciously. What a bunch of trash, how can you be worse than a woman? You can't even drive a truck. Panda originally thought that there should be a lot of skills in this kind of truck, but he didn't expect that there was not a single one among the bikers who could drive an ordinary car. But it takes more than 1 or 2 days for an ordinary driver to be able to drive a truck on a complex road. Now he could only watch Tao Yu drive 3 trucks to transport goods happily. Boss Panda, I am just a peasant from the outer city. I was lucky enough to get a little reward. Could it be that I really caught the eyes of the 2 adults? At this time, a strong man who looked about 1.8 meters tall under Panda came over and lowered his voice. Boss Panda spent 20,000 willpower to buy the other party's 2 trucks of goods. He was so excited when he saw it from the side that he really wanted to snatch it away and take it into his own hands. This new development area is too profitable. But now if there are no trucks and only rely on manpower, even if all these outer city motorcycle gangs are towed away, the benefits are limited. Not as good as a truck of things. Boss Panda actually tolerated this kind of business, which made him completely incomprehensible. Hearing this, Panda also looked at the boy with a smile. Heh, idiot, don't follow me in the future, it's annoying. As soon as these words came out, the expression of the strong man who offered the advice was stunned, and then his face immediately flushed, but looking at Panda's 2.3 meter tall figure, he dared not say anything. He could only keep his head down and say sorry, and then quickly left. Look carefully, those who can't tell the current situation, get out of here now, don't stay here to cause trouble for me. Panda directly used the boy as an object to establish his authority, and turned around and sprayed the other brothers in the face. As one of the few inner city pioneers who came to the base, he could recruit a group of outer city brothers as long as he made a call, but it might also lead to unevenness. Now is the opportunity to sort it out. On the other side, the man who was driven away finally couldn't help but cursed in a low voice after leaving for a while. Damn, isn't it just that he was lucky enough to be reborn in the inner city? Like an idiot, he doesn't eat the meat in front of him. This kind of timid soft egg has grown so big in vain. Fuck. Thinking of his kneeling and licking during this period of time, in exchange for such an experience, he was able to raise a strong 1.8 meter tall man in the outer city. Peng Xiong, whose family is not bad, also looked ashen. Humph, there are more than just you in the inner city, you just took advantage of the situation. Peng Xiong thought for a while, but why do you have to find the big shots in the inner city to take the lion's share? It's just that kid alone, with a few aboriginals at most, how much of a threat can he pose? So what if you have an A-level talent? It's only been a short time. How many skills do you have to digest the willpower? Even if you are lucky enough to complete the task and get the reward, how much can you improve in such a short time? Peng Xiong's eyes flickered. If you miss this opportunity, you will never get it again. I'm really afraid that he will be difficult to deal with after he digests the reward. If you don't do it, I will. 3 cars, hey, he can pull it, why can't I? Thinking of this, Peng Xiong looked at the sky and quickly started to connect them. There are still a few brothers in the gang here, get him. Chapter 86, Hard Life. You are listening at NovelsReturning. Brother Peng, are you sure about the news? Is he really from the outer city? A coxcomb-haired guy who was riding a motorcycle and couldn't let go of the motorcycle asked Peng Xiong. Yes, I have heard of this person. He is from our Nanqing district. He is an A-level, dynamic vision, and seems to have become a partner. A-level talent and a partner? The new development area is in need of people. Another little yellow-haired guy also sneered at this time. You have an A-level talent but you are so timid. You don't even dare to fight for it. You don't join the company's department to become a partner. You are a softie. Yes, if he is from our Nanqing district, it will be easier to control. Do you know his background? I have only heard of this, but what kind of background can he have? He has a background and still chooses a partner. Are you stupid? Peng Xiong looked indifferent. Do you want to go back and check first? What the hell? It takes 5 days to go back and forth. What if someone robs it? Use your brain. Oh, what are you checking? What's wrong with a few people dying in the abyss? So what if they have A-level talents? Even big shots in the inner city have died. The coxcomb-headed man smiled coldly. If you absorb A-level talents into the gang, it's also a credit, right? Credit? Wait until he climbs up and kills your whole family. A-level talents. A-level talents must die. Otherwise, are you waiting for revenge? There are only a few of us. It's hard to divide them if there are too many people. Okay, be safe. I'll go and greet them openly. You guys are ready to shoot them secretly. If they are left alone, they won't dare to attack us first. It's almost evening now. I guess they won't enter the city. We can catch up with them if we go out now. On the other side, Tao Yu hummed a little tune and sang a song, and came to the outskirts of Las Vegas with 3 trucks. It was already afternoon when we went out, and the sunset was almost gone when we got here. If we continue, we can actually drive into the city for a while and rest. After all, the truck itself is very safe, but after seeing the entrance to the city, Tao Yu still started to slow down in advance and picked up the walkie-talkie. We'll deal with it outside for one night. We'll go into the city to buy goods early tomorrow morning. We'll buy nearby first. Install everything useful first, and focus on being fast. Okay, I'll listen to Boss Tao. There are fewer people robbing now, so it should be easier to install. I don't know if there are any arms stores, which should be more valuable. Several people chatted with each other on the walkie-talkie. In addition to Judy and Jesse's group, the other car was Tommy and Senk. In addition, the two of them also called a few adult men from the previous gathering place to act as porters. No wages are required, just settle with canned goods, as long as the pay is higher than burning corpses, driving a truck, just moving goods on the periphery, and with strong mobility experts to support. This thing can still be done. However, when the 3 trucks stopped on one side, Tao Yu saw several motorcycles in the distance through the rearview mirror. This made Tao Yu raise his eyebrows. Panda, that kid is playing dirty. This can't be blamed on me. Tao Yu rubbed his hands. The implanted foreign body will not explode by itself. I don't know if it can explode something good. You stay in the car, I'll go and see the situation. Tao Yu didn't want the people in the car to suffer any loss, so he opened the door and got out. At the same time, relying on the telepathy, he let Xiao Hei crawl under the car, waiting for his instructions. But after getting off the car and carefully checking with his eyes, Tao Yu was somewhat surprised to find that there was no trace of Panda. Among those people, only one was the younger brother who followed behind Panda before, and the others were faces he had never seen before. Do you look down on me so much? Or did this younger brother have his own ideas? Tao Yu lost most of his interest when he saw that there were no inner city pioneers, they are all mud legs from the outer city, and everyone's pockets are cleaner than their faces. This made Tao Yu's face fall. You can't wrongly accuse people, tisk this malicious intent is not wrongful, ask them if Panda is involved. Tao Yu did not shoot the man directly, he was just an outsider, and with his intuition plus bullet time plus lurking, he had enough tolerance. But then Tao Yu put on his tactical helmet, strategic contempt, tactics still need to be taken seriously. On the other side, Peng Xiong looked at Tao Yu coming down alone, and his face was also full of joy. Sure enough. This kid has no helpers. An outsider with no foundation actually wants to take such a huge benefit for himself. Aren't you afraid of being full? Peng Xiong rode his motorcycle and stopped directly in front of Tao Yu. He sat on the motorcycle and looked at Tao Yu and smiled. Boy, I know you, the partner with A-level, dynamic vision, in Nanqing district, right? Yes, I didn't expect that I'm so famous. Tao Yu grinned. Hey, the A-level combat talent of the outside city is still valuable. That's how the lone wolf of the wild wolf gang got to the top. Peng Xiong said naturally with an expression of pointing fingers. Oh. The wild wolf gang is the tyrant of our South City. This brother is so contemptuous, it can be seen that there is something behind it. Is it Lord Panda? Tao Yu asked indirectly. Humph, don't ask around. I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm from the skeleton gang. Our skeleton gang has more seniority than the wild wolf gang. My father is an official in the skeleton gang. Since you are from South City, you should know the importance of this. Is Lord Panda not involved? Tao Yu asked unwillingly, he also knows that the skeleton gang is one of the cancers in South City. The outer city security team only cares about some red lines, but they don't have so much energy to deal with everything in detail. In many places, there are actually gangs to maintain another kind of order. However, because I have some connections with Uncle Hu, I won't be harassed by gang members on weekdays. If these guys come to me like this, they probably don't have time to go back and investigate themselves, or are too lazy to investigate. I'm thinking of killing people and silencing them. Panda, do you only know Panda? Do you understand what I said? Peng Xiong couldn't help but feel angry when he thought of how embarrassed he was being driven away by Panda. This was a bit of a defensive look, which made Tao Yu curl her lips. Mater, he really wasn't that guy. Since you are a member of the skeleton gang, you can make a friend. How about we sell you the fleet for 3,000 willpower? It's not expensive, right? Truck drivers are hard to find. Tao Yu began to lose patience. This offer really made Peng Xiong's heart flutter. 3,000, that's great. Although he doesn't have that much ready-made willpower, if we all work together, we might have a chance. But then Peng Xiong immediately became angry again. I did it to you, and these are all mine. I don't believe they are not afraid of death. As he spoke, Peng Xiong also took out his gun and motioned to the people behind him to take action. What happened to the A-level talent? Even if one person is shot to death by us, it has no value at all. Maid, you still want to eat for free. It's so rude. Tao Yu's eyes gradually deepened, and the scene in front of him slowed down instantly. Bang bang bang. After a few shots that came first and bullets that he dodged sideways, Tao Yu put the gun back into the holster, passing by the corpses that had been hit by headshots and fell one after another. He walked towards the last one who was thrown to the ground by Xiao He, who was being bitten by Xiao He and screamed in agony. Hey, brother, Panda really has no instructions? No hints? Ah. Save me. Let me go. I really don't know. Peng Xiong said something wrong and was driven away by Panda. Save me. The words that the guy who was being pressed down and biting by Xiao He made Tao Yu couldn't help but say, Maid, life is really hard. Then he turned around and got into the car without paying any attention. After processing, place all the motorcycles, and then pick up the guns and everything else. After giving the command casually with his back to Xiao He flicked his tail and penetrated the head of the screaming man. and then threw the body to the side of the road, not to mention the death of a few people in the abyss. In this apocalyptic world before us, death is commonplace, just to take advantage of the wild dogs on the roadside. At the base, Panda was cooking a self-service hot pot in front of the campfire, sneezing while eating the hot pot. It tastes really strong, but it's delicious. After sneezing again, he couldn't help but pinch his nose, then burned a few pieces of hairy belly and stuffed it into his mouth. Chapter 87 Request. You are listening at NovelsReturning. Brother, the goods this time are not good. I can only give you 8,000 at most. I have to make some money, right? Or you can try giving it to the mission hull first. You will definitely not be given as much as I am. Panda inspected the 3 carts of goods that Tao Yu had pulled back in a hurry, and probably made an estimate. 8,000 is 8,000, brother. Did you have a younger brother before? Why didn't he follow you anymore? Tao Yu asked casually as he watched Panda hand over the magnetic card for him to inject his wish power. Ignore this idiot, and don't betray me when you see him in the future. Panda said casually with the power of wish, and then handed it back to Tao Yu. Easy to talk to and happy to work with. After taking back the magnetic card, Tao Yu also began to arrange the unloading, and then looked around. Although it was only another day, the appearance of the base had changed a lot of zombie corpses have been cleaned up, but there is still that burning smell in the air. At the same time, he also saw Jack, who was helping to burn the body, and walked over. Hey, do you want to study when you have free time today? If not, I'll go move the goods again. Study, it's almost enough for them to eat. Jack clapped his hands, feeling stinky all over. At this time, an ant who was resting next to her hurriedly came over and said, Jack, you can't just ignore me. How can I finish the rest of the work? After saying that, he looked at Tao Yu again. And you, young man, young people should be more diligent and help Auntie burn some. Although it had been expected for a long time, it still made Tao Yu roll his eyes a little. Just give it a little sunshine and it would be brilliant. However, Jack is indeed not the kind of pleaser who helps without thinking. He only helps because of himself and has nothing to do with this ant. You can finish it according to the amount you gave yesterday. Today is the last time I will help you. If you don't get used to it, you will starve to death. Jack said it bluntly, and then followed Tao Yu and left here without paying attention to the ant's reaction. The crane shape is mainly about lightness, and the movements of the crane are too fierce. Now the zombies in the entire military base have been wiped out, and the open space is everywhere, but there is a burning smell in the air. At this time, in addition to Jack, Tommy and Senke were also practicing pile kung fu. Although they can't use their willpower, they can still practice to increase their physical fitness. The difficulty has increased a lot. It's really not that simple. Jack is already familiar with the pile skills. After killing many zombies here, he still has the basics, and he himself is also very talented in action, but even so, the introduction of the crane shape alone was a bit bumpy. The movements are actually pretty much done. The rest is more about feeling. Tao Yu also made another crane-shaped wish acceleration on the spot, and then slowly exhaled. At this moment, a sound broke through the sky. Tao Yu looked in the direction and saw the sun's siblings descending from the sky on suspended motorboats. I have something to do with them, so you can practice first. Go ahead and come over later to help me take a look. Jack was still posing in the crane shape over there, looking for a feeling. The movement of Tao Yu trotting over also attracted Sun Shiyu's attention. After parking the motorboat, he waited there for a while. Have you thought about what you want to ask for? That she was still very satisfied with Tao Yu. Both the Chosen One and this place were chosen well. It's a bit deserted here at the moment, but the best thing is safety. The Gobi is the best barrier. This is the most important element of the abyss. Its own underground water source and ready-made defense measures at the base can save a lot of trouble. The city next door can also be used as a supply point after it is cleaned up, and the oasis can be directly turned into a farm. It can be said that there is still a lot of preparation work to be done. Even with the resources tilted in Xinyao City, it will probably take a few years for it to take shape. it will take time for the pioneers to slowly accumulate, and there are not many aborigines for the time being. If there is a system that involves extraordinary skills, that would be great. Tao Yu first said his little request, which made Sun Shiqing, who was looking curiously at the side, laugh out loud. It's good for you. From one extreme to the other, there are not many extraordinary skills available, and many of them are quite mentally polluted. Some of them have prerequisites. If you don't have a good foundation, you may not be able to handle them. Tao Yu wanted to say that she was willing to take the risk, but she suppressed it. After all, she had to be cautious about this kind of thing. God knows the degree of mental pollution. If it was too serious, it would not be good to pretend not to be like it. As for your core secrets, you must still keep them stable. Anyone who can teach is fine. I have learned the 5 forms of Wanlu in the Wanlu Dojo. With the power of smashing my wish, I have now, the 5 forms become one. But unfortunately, there is no corresponding breathing method. I don't know the basic breathing method, and is there any conflict with Wanlu breathing method? Tao Yu is not picky about food either. It would be great if he could really complement the matching breathing method. The first deification of the skill is extremely cost-effective. The previous skills are all available, but this one is definitely complementary, which is better than directly learning an incompatible one. Basic breathing techniques can be used with almost any breathing technique, and they can even provide certain blessings. I have practiced them, and it will be fine. Sun Shiqing smiled and waved her hand beside her. In private, this handsome young man was not as cold as he appeared on the radio, and he seemed to be quite approachable to Tao Yu. Wanlu Wuxiang, I have some impression. Although Wanlu Wuxing is very impressive in the outer city, in Sun Shiyu's eyes, it is just a little impressive. Okay, if you want to learn that breathing method, I will help you make the request. I also have the extraordinary general abilities that can be learned here. But I don't have much time. If you have the patience and are willing to extend the learning time, you can come to me and choose for yourself. Sun Shiyu tilted his head in thought for a moment, and gave Tao Yu 2 choices. If it is convenient, of course, go back to learn Wanlu breathing method, and you can also complete the set, but Tao Yu said without hesitation. I want to learn from you. There is a chance to pull in the thigh relationship, why hesitate? Anyway, the skills can be deified. Okay, now, I will teach you the meditation technique that condenses mental power. For you who have dynamic vision, this can increase your reflexes and reactions, so that your brain can keep up with your eyes, and it does not conflict with the abilities of other body systems, and it can also enhance your learning ability. It must be said that the 2 solutions proposed by Sun Shiyu are quite suitable for Tao Yu. Needless to say, the breathing method is considered a system. The meditation she proposed seemed to take into account that Tao Yu's physical fitness was already good, but she lacked spiritual abilities and could not make full use of her A-level dynamic vision. Sun Shiyu's original intention was to focus on Tao Yu's dynamic vision, an A-level talent. Now, when she was hiring people, she also needed some talents who could stand on their own. Tao Yu, who had a simple background, outstanding talents, good luck and abilities, and good looks, was indeed worth cultivating, but when Tao Yu heard what she was going to teach, her eyes lit up. At present, I have a lot of abilities to increase my physical limit, but most of the increases in my spiritual aspects are incidental, such as shadow control, and my new talent, fist intention. It can be said that there is no systematic mobilization of mental power like the breathing method to integrate qi and blood. Now it is perfect to have meditation. The advantages of fist intention can be fully utilized. Then Sun Shiyu turned her head slightly, sniffed in front of Tao Yu, and then fanned with her hand. It's been a long time since I took a shower. You smell sour. Go take a shower first and then come find me. After saying that, she turned and walked into the military camp. She raised one hand and did some stretching while walking, which made Tao Yu's eyes drift a few more times unconsciously. Just when the other party came over to sniff, Tao Yu actually accelerated her beats a few beats and felt a hint of fragrance at the tip of her nose. Good guy, being too healthy is also a problem. Tao Yu pinched the bridge of her nose and exhaled. this is probably the blood and vigor, the feeling of being young is actually quite good, and I always feel that this young lady seems to have a talent or skill that adds charm, although her mental immunity can ignore some mental influences, some natural reactions cannot be avoided, just like pain. But then Tao Yu thought that Sun Shiyu actually taught her in person instead of letting her brother do it for her, and she felt a little strange. In her heart either, her brother is not good at this. Or, well, maybe she didn't regard herself as a normal opposite sex at all. People in the inner city look down on people in the outer city. This big man in the floating city may not make any gender difference when looking at me. A suitable tool. Tao Yu shook his head, then turned back and walked towards Jack. As soon as I came here, the cargo was transported by Lianzhou, and there was no place to stay. I borrowed his dormitory to take a shower first. The military camp has its own underground water well, which is one of the important reasons why this place is valuable. Chapter 88 Visualization Diagram. You are listening at NovelsReturning. This is my first serious bath in 18 years. Tao Yu rubbed the soap, wishing she could crush the whole piece of soap and smear it on her body. It's hard to describe the life of the past 18 years. I had to deal with the farm every day, and it was impossible to have these toiletries. If it's really dirty, just use toner. The water is cold all year round, so people who are not strong enough in winter don't wash it. After returning last time, I was stinking all over, so I just washed it down with cold water. It's almost marinated in flavor. However, the smell of the outer city neighborhoods is worse. After I came here, I stayed in a place where zombies were everywhere and there was a putrid smell everywhere, so it was nothing. Now that he finally had a place where he could temporarily settle down, as well as some daily necessities, Tao Yu no longer wronged himself, and brushed hard, even using all his strength when rubbing the chaff. The feeling of relief made him want to call Jack in to rub his back. Cool. After washing her body inside and out, Tao Yu really felt like she had removed several kilograms of mud. The current environment here in the base is actually quite bad, but after the bodies are burned, it will slowly get better with the subsequent cleanup. At least it will be better than in the outer city. Tao Yu put on her clothes and had some thoughts in her mind. At least the base here has a complete sewage system, which is much better than the outer city that doesn't even have sewers. After cleaning up, it's time to go find the rich woman's sister. When I was studying, I also told you about Jingguan. They should have discovered that there will definitely be corresponding task rewards. Tao Yu looked at his more than 50,000 willpower savings and felt a little bloated. The rewards for the chosen one and location selection can be said to be windfalls, but the rewards for shipping goods are truly earned. Although I can't guarantee that the profit efficiency will be so high later, I feel that I should be willing to earn 60,000 to 70,000 yuan a month after moving. There will be no such store after this village. Nowadays, things in Las Vegas are not moved very much, and there are few people competing, so it is simply a matter of picking up money. 60 or 70,000 willpower per month, which was simply unimaginable before, but the premise is that the hidden dangers in Las Vegas must be solved, otherwise the cargo will not dare to spend the night in the city and will not be able to go deep. After changing clothes and tidying up, Tao Yu had an idea and put some cologne on herself. It should be something left by a certain soldier in this dormitory. If you want to see the rich woman's sister, you still have to make yourself smell good. What did you put on it? It smells so strong. Tao Yu found the temporary residence of the Sun siblings, the military camp commander's suite, and it was able to keep the lights on thanks to the electricity stored by the solar panels during the day. It was one of the few places in the military camp where the lights could be turned on, but when he knocked on the door with a smile on his face, he was greeted by Sun Shiyu's slightly disgusted voice. Sun Shiyu wrinkled her straight nose and reached out to slap it, leaving Tao Yu speechless and choked. Maybe the shampoo has expired. I'm really sorry. That guy Jack is really picking up everything in the house. Tao Yu didn't bat an eyelid, and directly dumped the expired shampoo and Jack. Forget it, it's much better than before. Sun Shiyu could stay in a place full of zombies. It wasn't that he couldn't bear it, he just wanted a pleasant environment when he rested. Come in and change your shoes. Tao Yu also took a look at Sun Shiyu's home attire at this time. The originally wide t-shirt was stretched up due to his lower body, and the cartoon pattern on the chest was deformed. The shorts were also covered by the wide hem, and only a pair of indescribably beautiful legs could be seen, and underneath was a pair of brown puppy slippers. Inside the house, Tao Yu could still see Sun Shiqing, who was dressed similarly, lying on the sofa like a lazy man. The house must have been specially cleaned, so it looked very clean. However, Sun Shiqing doesn't have a figure like his sister. After putting on the t-shirt, it is too loose. Because of her appearance, she looks like a flat-chested girl at first glance. The visual effect is quite eye-catching. Tao Yu changed into disposable slippers and followed Sun Shiyu into the house. Sun Shiqing seemed to be reading a comic, and there was an open bag of potato chips next to her. She would pinch a piece of kazakaz and eat it from time to time. After seeing Tao Yu come in, he raised his hand and said hello. Brother Tao is here. My sister is familiar with meditation, so I won't help. Young Master Sun is serious. It's an honor for me to get your guidance. Although the Sun siblings seem to be much easier to get in touch with than the children from the inner city, Tao Yu will not be inflated by this attitude now. I've only seen him a few times, and they all relied on the legacy of the Chosen One. I just take advantage of this guidance to consolidate it a little more. The Chosen One and this base are both very important. They saved us a lot of energy. You deserve this. Sun Shiyu walked in front with her slippers on, then dragged a yoga mat from the bookcase and spread it directly on the ground. Come on, let's start now. Write down some locations for me first. Sun Shiyu pulled out a dozen A4 papers. There were some very abstract stick figures on the paper, which seemed to have been drawn not long ago. Tao Yu's mouth twitched, and then he sat upright and listened to Sun Shiyu pointing to the pattern numbers and explaining some principles in a serious manner. The mixture of his own cologne on the tip of his nose and the fragrance of Sun Shiyu's body made Tao Yu a little unable to concentrate, and his eyes would slide down uncontrollably from time to time. The basic essentials of meditation are these. You have the foundation of breathing techniques, you have also learned some boxing techniques, and you have mastered the qi and blood, so these should not be difficult for you. Sun Shiyu's tone was calm and steady while explaining, and Tao Yu quickly nodded and said. Already remembered. Indeed, as Sun Shiyu said, even if Tao Yu couldn't concentrate completely, he had already memorized these essentials. But if there are only these, then the spread of meditation has already reached your outer city. The reason why it is not there is that it still lacks the most core step, the visualization diagram. When Sun Shiyu said this, his expression suddenly became serious and he said seriously. We have not put any restrictions on the spread of breathing techniques. Even if the few advanced breathing techniques in your outer city have not spread, it is for your own sake. But the meditation technique is different. We have really restricted it. You can't teach it at will. When Tao Yu heard this, he also took away the evil glance from the corner of his eyes, and asked for advice with a little surprise on his face. Are there any hidden dangers in this? What should I pay attention to after studying? There are indeed big hidden dangers, mainly the problem of the object of visualization. You have to remember that you can only visualize the visualization diagram I taught you. If you encounter anyone who promotes other visualization contents to you, no matter who the person is, they must report it. Can I know why? Tao Yu was shocked when she heard such serious consequences, and then carefully confirmed it. If the other party didn't say anything, he wouldn't ask further. It seemed like the issue was very sensitive. Because our orthodox meditation technique visualizes the orthodox divine image divided by the will of the world, which protects our world from being eroded by the abyss. In addition, there are also evil cultists who were born from the pollution of the abyss demon. Sun Shiyu didn't hide anything, but her expression was a little solemn. God. Followers of the evil god. Tao Yu seems to have begun to explore a little bit of the secrets of this world. As expected of a big shot in the floating city, he knows a lot. It can indeed be regarded as gods, but the gods who protect us may not have any entities, and may not even have specific images and self-awareness. They should be gathered together by the wishes we have collected. Sun Shiyu didn't say anything godly, and he didn't look very pious at all. He just said it bluntly, as if our god was just a tool god. Needless to say about the demon god of the abyss, those evil god believers have done things that extinguished the fire of civilization and led to the destruction of cities. They are the enemies of everyone. After Tao Yu digested and absorbed this information, he had an outline in his mind: the so-called gods should be the incarnation of the will of the world. There may be more than one who specializes in protecting all living beings. How can the collected wishes be divided into categories? However, this involves the relationship between the world itself. Tao Yu estimates that Sun Shiyu only got some information, so he cannot say that this is definitely the case. To put it bluntly, how much does the company know about the abyss? It's just a summary of some experiences. As for the followers of the evil god, Tao Yu's mouth twitched when he thought of the ghostly environment in the outer city. It seemed strange that there were no followers. They were all made by himself. But obviously, he couldn't say these words in front of these two people. Maybe the floating city doesn't want the outer city to become like this, but people do things. In many cases, it's not just the arrangements made by the higher-ups that can achieve the goal. The people who implement the actual implementation have many ways to misinterpret it. I understand, I will definitely pay attention. Okay, close your eyes, empty your mind, and I will teach you the visualization diagram. Sun Shiyu nodded, and then motioned to Tao Yu to calm down and close her eyes. This made Tao Yu suddenly feel heartbroken. Wait, aren't you just asking me to see some pictures? This made Tao Yu quickly calm down and suppress himself. At this moment, he suddenly felt the other party's slender fingers touching his forehead, then a majestic light and shadow appeared in his mind. Under the golden divine light that filled the sky, the sculptured image whose face could not be seen clearly appeared in the square. It's just that there are too many details. It seems to be forcibly imprinted on the spirit. Because it was not an attack, Tao Yu found that he could choose to hold back, and he felt a little relieved after not crushing the other party's input. Fortunately, but the next moment, Tao Yu felt a sense of suffocation. There was a soft touch and squeezing sensation on the face, and a refreshing fragrance penetrated into the nasal cavity as he breathed hard. After opening his eyes, Tao Yu, who had extraordinary eyesight, felt that his vision went dark, and then he vaguely saw the cartoon pattern on the chest of Sun Shiyu's t-shirt. What's going on? My current body is only 18 years old, don't give me such exciting scenes. Tao Yu's heart was pounding, and she opened her mouth unconsciously. Sun Shiqing, who was eating potato chips next to her, also opened her mouth wide. Seeing that her elder sister suddenly gave way and fell on top of him, he was so frightened that he even dropped the potato chips. What's going on? Chapter 89 Settlement. You are listening at NovelsReturning. It hurts. Sun Shiyu sat on Tao Yu, one hand on Tao Yu's chest, one hand covering her head, and raised it up. Her face was a little pale because of the stinging, and she kept breathing cold air. Tao Yu was lying on the ground with a blank mind at this time, just looking up blankly. It smells so good. Hiss, is it so painful to teach the visualization diagram? You almost sent me away. Supporting Tao Yu's body to stand up, Sun Shiyu staggered, kept knocking her head with her fists, and then glanced down at Tao Yu. Sorry, I haven't taught it before, I have no experience. Then she found the slippers that fell when she fell barefoot, put them on, and tapped her toes. No need to apologize. Tao Yu slowly exhaled, her eyes were a little dazed. Does it hurt? I didn't feel it when Mom taught us. Sun Shiqing also stood up at this time, came over and reached out to touch her elder sister's forehead, then rolled her eyes at her and said. You haven't practiced it yet, right? I said, I haven't even reached level 6 yet. How come you are so fast? You didn't make up a level 6 for yourself and deceived yourself, right? You're looking for a fight, right? Sun Shiyu glared at Sun Shiqing, and in an instant, an invisible telekinesis burst out, blowing all her hair into a flutter. The mocking Sun Shiqing was pressed directly to the ceiling by an invisible force. Bang! Some dust fell from the ceiling. I'm wrong, sister, I'm wrong. Ask him first, is it effective? Sun Shiqing, who was stuck to the ceiling, had messy hair, messy clothes, and her belly button was exposed. She begged for mercy and also saved the country by pointing to Tao Yu. Well, it should be effective. It's a very clear visualization picture, like the statue in our square. Oh, it worked. Sun Shiyu let go of her brother again after hearing this, and let him fall on the sofa, making a bang sound. This made Tao Yu shrink his neck. Having seen the weapons behind the two siblings, Tao Yu also had some guesses about their abilities, but even when playing, the power they used was so strong, and they were indeed the pride of heaven. Just when Sun Shiyu attacked Sun Shiqing in anger, Tao Yu really felt a huge sense of threat. If the other party wanted, the previous power could break his neck. Thinking about the scene, he was fighting with a set of Wanlu whooshing on the spot, and then his neck was broken in the air. Hiss. That's okay, but I don't have much experience. I'll learn slowly in the future. Forget it, I won't teach it anymore. Whoever wants to teach it in the future can teach it. Sun Shiyu pouted, still covering his head. It seemed to be very painful. Tao Yu and Sun Shiqing both sat quietly on the side, nodding like chicks pecking at rice. Okay, that's all for today. Go back and practice it well. Combine the visualization diagram with the previous one to see if you can get started. If not, come back to me tomorrow. The headache seemed to make Sun Shiyu a little irritable. She glanced at Tao Yu, and Tao Yu ran away without saying anything, but she thought of her other purpose and said quickly. I still have information about those Jingwans. Tao Yu's words made Sun Shiyu, who was covering his head, stunned for a moment, and then nodded. You are really lucky. You connect with him. I'm going to rest. As he spoke, he continued to pat his head and walked towards the room. Sun Shiqing was relieved when she saw her elder sister close the door. She turned around and gave Tao Yushu a thumbs up. Brother Tao, you are a warrior. No, I have to thank you for teaching me this extraordinary skill. Tao Yu waved his hand modestly, but was interrupted by Sun Shiqing before he finished speaking. I mean, when you were learning, you stole a glance at my elder sister's thigh 7 times and chest 13 times. Do you know that last time someone wanted to chase my elder sister, she broke his leg? Sun Shiqing, who was sitting on the sofa and hugging a pillow, laughed slyly. He was obviously very good-looking and looked like his elder sister, but Tao Yu thought he laughed so hard that he deserved to be beaten, thinking, but Tao Yu's body was very honest. He directly put his hands together and begged for mercy. I don't want to break my leg. You are really interesting. As an outsider, you don't have that kind of class concept. Although you are very respectful, you dare not do this if you really mean it from the bottom of your heart. Sun Shiqing smiled and hugged the pillow, sitting cross-legged on the sofa and shaking. But it's a pity that you just lack talent. Otherwise, you have a clean family background and good looks, so you have a chance. Actually, my dynamic vision is max. Tao Yu laughed dryly, which made Sun Shiqing confused. Really? Max? It's rare for any skill to reach max, even non-combat skills will have unique effects. Really, you can test it. This answer made Sun Shiqing look weird. This guy wouldn't really want to be her brother-in-law, but although dynamic vision is a bit weak, if it's max. Well, tell me, what information do you know? This sudden change of topic made Tao Yu's mouth stiffen, but he quickly suppressed the idea of taking shortcuts and began to focus on the benefits that were in front of him. He said seriously. I and the Chosen One have been to this place before. Well, I know, and I killed a corpse king, right? What skills does he have? Although Sun Shiqing is young, her family status is such that her reaction is quite fast. It's a corpse refining skill. With the right materials and conditions, you can create that kind of corpse king and control it. Having experienced their power before, Tao Yu didn't think he would have any ideas for such a skill. Then what? Sure enough, Sun Shiqing paid more attention to the follow-up. Later, when I drove through the city, I determined that those views were man-made, and that the Jedi wanted to artificially create corpses. It was even possible that the disasters in this world were caused by them. With skills that are beyond the obvious, it is logical for Tao Yu to make these guesses. Refining corpse, artificially. Sun Shiqing frowned and thought, now that they have arrived here, they already know from the researcher that the corpse king is the source. A heavy human factor can already be identified, but apocalyptic worlds are nothing new. There are many similar ones in the old pioneer areas, where a variety of inexplicable and even illogical reasons lead to the end of the world. They didn't pay much attention at first. Abyss was all normal, but now logic suddenly appears here, and I have to think deeply about it. I understand. You can go back first. I will discuss it with my sister tomorrow. Don't wander around. Good. Of course Tao Yu would not make decisions without authorization. To put it bluntly, the gap between me and them in terms of status and strength is too big now. Even if the current communication is quite pleasant, it must not be expanded. You won't take me in if you don't have a place to live, right? Tao Yu knocked on Jack's door. It was already dark now, and he was too lazy to mess around, so he came here to make things happen. You might as well live here, it's just a room for two. Jack didn't care and opened the door to let Tao Yu in. As the chosen one, Jack really has some special care, and this dormitory is much better than others. Thanks. Thank you, you just happened to tell me about boxing skills. Jack is obviously a little addicted to Wanlu Wuxiang. He can passively use the power of his will, and his physical sense is much stronger than that of Tommy and Senk. Okay, let's go clean it up first, it stinks like hell. Tao Yu waved her hand at Jack in disgust, and Jack's was Shushio, right? Shushio also said in a daze. It doesn't stink either. Hurry up. Oh. After explaining some precautions to Jack, Tao Yu returned to bed and began to integrate the meditation technique. Although the little figures painted by Sun Shiyu are very abstract and Tao Yu is a little absent-minded, everything that should be expressed is clearly expressed, the visualization map has been successfully printed, and all conditions have been met. There is no reason why it cannot be successful. Even now, Tao Yu can't calm down even if it's a little troublesome. My mind is filled with those cartoon images. Chapter 90. It's done. You are listening at NovelsReturning. It's done. That when the bright sunlight shone in through the window, a look of joy appeared on Tao Yu's face with bloodshot eyes. Meditation. It's done. It turns out that it is to complete the construction of the spirit and restrain the scattered thoughts with the visualization diagram as the core. It is indeed an extremely excellent method. But I started to go astray. Tao Yu had some memories of past lives, so she had a preconceived idea that meditation should also be some kind of method of spiritual practice. Coupled with the fact that my mind is full of colorful cartoon patterns, it does have some influence, but actually, meditation is more like a kind of self-discipline. Although I was visualizing spirits, it was just to overcome my own messy thoughts. It is difficult for everyone to maintain a high degree of concentration all the time. Desertions and distractions are common, and evil thoughts and good intentions may even conflict with each other at the same time. Meditation is more like a kind of self-correction. Tao Yu breathed out slowly and looked at the light group of the meditation skill. Meditation, LV1, subdue your own thoughts with the help of visualization diagrams, passively increase concentration and mental resistance, increase a certain amount of perception and spiritual awareness, increase a certain reaction and thinking speed, increase a certain mental recovery speed, and increase a certain mental upper limit. It can actively stimulate thoughts to complete wandering and training according to a certain structure. As the proficiency increases, a certain mental upper limit will be increased. Note, using visualization diagrams to suppress thoughts for a long time will cause oneself to be affected by the visualization diagrams. Feeling some of the information conveyed by the meditation technique, Tao Yu was thoughtful. Although the name of the god in this visualization is unknown, it should indeed be a righteous god, coming from the protection of the will of the world. The influence of the so-called visualization picture should be positive. However, Tao Yu himself is exempt from this effect, so he is not sure. What can be inferred is that if you are visualizing the evil cultists of the abyss demon god, you may have some serious character problems. Sociopaths and lunatics are not impossible. Thinking about the depressing environment in the outer city, Tao Yu shook his head. Many people may have been forced to come out. People who have reached the limit in the outer city may have become religious because of their stuttering. Do you want to distinguish between right and wrong? What you sow gets what you reap. Tao Yu cannot evaluate anything, but Tao Yu himself and his relatives live there, so he also has his own position. Some things are understandable but not acceptable. I understand you, who will understand me? Afterwards, Tao Yu stopped worrying about these things. Seeing the deification consumption of up to 1,000, he was not too surprised. Meditation is indeed an extraordinary ability. Although it doesn't seem to have a particularly outstanding blessing, there are too many additions. Deification. A feeling of electric shock came directly from Tao Yu's mind, a tingling feeling as if he had suffered a slight electric shock. Although he was in this numb state, Tao Yu felt that his energy was better than ever. Some of the fatigue from staying up late disappeared instantly, as if he had made up for his sleep and woke up naturally with energy. A sense of comfort that came from his soul made him want to stop. Meditation, LV1, Forward Strategy. Treating yourself as God can temper your own thoughts and purify your spirit. In addition to the various ability increases of the original meditation technique, the additional ability to temper one's own thoughts and purify the spirit also allowed Tao Yu to directly understand the new purpose of this deified meditation technique. Although I was immune to all kinds of mental shocks in the past and was not afraid of backlash, the quality of my mental power was only average. The time I dealt with Chao Shaolin, it only distracted him and failed to affect my movements. Tao Yu quickly drew a comparison in her mind, and at the same time thought of her own fist intent. To a certain extent, the talent of fist intention also enhances the mental pressure attached to one's fists and feet, transforming mental power into concrete will, greatly strengthening the effect. But tempering one's thoughts and purifying the spirit can be superimposed with fist intent. When the purified mental power is turned into fist intention, the effect will only be more outstanding. In layman's terms, these are two independent writing areas. Cool. Not only the fist intent, between the fists and feet, but also the impact attached to the bullet can be strengthened. But the premise is that you must continue to use the deified meditation technique change to complete the purification of your mental power, and tempering thoughts itself is also a step in purifying mental power. Just like thoughts are a hammer and mental power is steel, thoughts follow the trajectory of meditation to hammer and grind. While purifying mental power, they are also forging their own thoughts. If the thoughts are strengthened to a certain extent, maybe you can also control objects in the air without leaving the body. Tao Yu had some thoughts in her mind, but at present, she had just started using meditation technique change, and she was still bare at level 1. Then Tao Yu focused his attention on his visualization diagram. After seeing the image of the visualization diagram, he seemed a little silent, because at this time, the image that originally belonged to the statue in the square actually changed. Although the facial features were still a little blurry, Tao Yu could vaguely see his own appearance in it. Make yourself a god, but since he has divine nature, it seems reasonable. In addition, the additional effects of increasing the mental recovery speed, combined with the concentration necklace, can also bring good practicality. It can be regarded as an alternative to increase battery life. I still need to go to the rich woman and rich brother to find out the situation later. I don't know when they will deal with it. Once the hidden dangers are solved, it will be more convenient to transport goods. With an income of tens of thousands a month, there is no shop like this in this village. If we don't solve the hidden danger and never spend the night in the city, we will have far fewer places to choose from. The longer it goes on, the more competitors there will be. Others don't know the dangers at night, so they just rush in. Even if they encounter attrition, they will still have things in the city taken away continuously, loss on both sides. Wow, I was almost scared to death by you. Jack got up early and started to stand in the living room. He was startled when he saw Tao Yu coming out. What? Am I scary? Tao Yu scolded him. It feels like your eyes were shooting lasers just now. Jack also said something. This made Tao Yu stunned for a moment, and then he said a perfunctory sentence. Take a good look at your eyes, there are lasers in them. Jack seemed to feel that what he said was a bit nonsense and seemed a little embarrassed, so he just yelled. Really, my eyes are much brighter now when I look at you. My talent is dynamic vision. Isn't this normal? Tao Yu immediately started to step on Jack's scar, causing the chosen one, who had no talent, to show his head. Tao Yu himself started to wash up, using the long-lost toothpaste while looking up at himself in the mirror. Indeed, my eyes are much brighter. The eyes are the windows to the soul. This is not an empty statement. TSK, I originally wanted to pretend that I didn't learn it. Tao Yu thought of some of the benefits she received yesterday and cursed in her heart, she is beautiful and rich, and her personality is not unacceptable. To say that she is not attracted to her would definitely be a lie, however, the current status and strength gap between the two sides is too big. If Zhenming starts to pursue him, not to mention the other party's reaction, the trouble will definitely pile up. Gulugulup. After rinsing the foam from his mouth, Tao Yu placed the toothbrush opposite Jack to distinguish it. At the same time, he wiped his face with a towel. But everything has failed. It's not easy to come directly in the open, but I have to give it a try secretly. The newly developed area currently only has some miscellaneous fish from the inner and outer cities. This is its biggest advantage. With so many people coming into the inner city, maybe some people will have ideas. After all, judging from Sun Shirqing's tone, she might want to get married. She has a clean net worth, good talent, and good looks. Isn't that what she's talking about? Women will affect the speed of drawing the sword, but rich women will not.